Hey team, this is Avi. So let's look at some of the charts here. There has been a shift I'm looking at with the overall market, or potential shift, which I posted tonight in the Discord. You could check the Elliott Wave updates that I have. So let's look at SPY. The one thing I'm looking for SPY is that we thought this here was the wave 5 and top here, which possibly could still be wave 5. But looking at the overall market, it's getting a bit bullish at the moment here. Bulls are not completely out of the woods, but we are reclaiming that 50-day EMA that I talk about on the daily chart. The big level that we're looking at for tomorrow and going forward is this 672, 675. So 675 or 676 area. If you're going to do, let's do the 4 hour for a moment. Come down here. You're in a bull flag formation and we take the swing high to the swing low, you are now approaching or you are within that level of the 618 right here, which is a 618 to 0.786. This is a level here where you would see some sort of rejection. So for SPY tomorrow, this is the level I will be looking at tomorrow, the 675 to 681. So if you're looking at your charts tomorrow, using Fib tools might be something that you want to do. So I'm looking at you taking the swing high to the swing low, and you're using those. And this level here is where I would see some sort of rejection. But the overall market, when you're looking at daily chart, let me go here. We're starting to reclaim that 50-day EMA. We're starting to break out, and we had our first test here with selling. Buyers stepped in. We had a second test here, and buyers stepped in again at this level. So the market's been testing these levels to see whether or not it's ready to distribute. And it's not, I can't say for sure that bulls are going to take control here. But right now, bulls are still in control. The bullish trend is still intact at the moment. So I would be looking very closely to see what SPY does going into tomorrow, whether or not it's holding that 50-day moving average and we continue to break out to the upside. And if that's the case, then you're looking at this here being a wave 3. And this here was your wave 4. We got to look at the 4 hour chart. This was your wave 4 at the back here. And we're going to continue to push to the upside. And this here was a micro subwave 1, 2, and you're in a wave 3, 4, 5 to the upside. So that's what we're looking at, because we can get that happening tomorrow. QQQ, same thing pretty much. Let me just move over here to this other chart. As you can see here as well, we're finding support at the bottom here, double bottom. We're now above that 50-day moving average right here, above the point of control. So level I would be looking at again, as I talked about, is your swing high to your swing low. And between this 618 to 786, if you start breaking above the 786, very likely the market's going to be moving higher. So just want you to pay attention to that. So you had that second test here. You saw buyers are stepping in. MACD is starting to curve to the upside. So you want to pay attention to that as well. So very much the market's in a crossroads, I would say, at the moment. So pay attention to those. Your fib extensions, your fib retracement tools. Let's look at QQQ. Pretty much same thing with QQQ overall. You're at this level here. We're going into tomorrow, which is 612, 615. Very big, crucial level we're looking at. Markets looking to our BX trenders starting to turn green as of today, which is saying there's some indication of buying happening, and we may flip bullish again. You want to see a green close tomorrow. And if we're taking our fib retracement tool, swing high to the swing low here again, I want to go to 4 hours to make sure you're actually getting the top of it. So you're entering this 618, 786 This would be a target region over here where you see some kind of rejection. If you don't see it here and you start moving up, you're gonna be within this range over here. So market still a bullish trend has remained intact, but we are watching this region here tomorrow, 615, 625. If you can get above this 615 area here tomorrow, which is another key area. Um, let's look at IWM. IWM remains bullish. We saw this could be a test. This is our first test over here with seller. We had our second test over here with seller. Seller were dominant. Buyers stepped in at this retest right over here, and they observed the price, the selling, and took this back up, which is right over here. Now you're looking like you want to break out. Major area here is this 245 area that we're looking at. We're going to do the swing high to the swing low. Let's look at the 4 hours. Let me just remove this. Okay, so we are right within this range here again, which is the 618 to the 7.786 fib. This is where you tend to see some sort of reaction, some sort of rejection when you're moving back up again. So that's the level I will be looking at tomorrow. As I said, the trend remains bullish. As new data is coming in, we want to change our bias that we have. I thought we were going to continue to move on the downside, but buyers stepped in aggressively at these areas here. So let's look at what the market is going to do. I'm not saying that the market will not have more downside. Bulls are not complete out of the woods yet, but we are seeing signs of buyers stepping in. So let's pay attention to this area here tomorrow, going into tomorrow, which is this 245 area to 247 area, 247 to 248 resistance area. Key level tomorrow we're going to be looking at. Let me take a look here. You have, did I do QQQ? Yeah, Q double bottom. You're above your 50-day moving average, above point of control. Buyers are still in control based on the volume. So IWM, you have IWM bounce off its 200-day moving average on the daily chart. You have big resistance level that we're testing here going into tomorrow on the daily. So you're at a huge resistance level here. So very key area that you're at for IWM. So right around this area here tomorrow, big key level that we want to see what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's look at some of the other tickers that we have that I posted. For the Elliott Wave forecast for these, please look at the Discord for those forecasts that I have. Let's look at Apple. So Apple is still holding its uptrend, though it's in a rising wedge. It's still holding its uptrend. Double bottom here, continue to hold support. I've been talking about this level unless Apple break this level here, there's not going to be a gap fill. Now we are having a double bottom formation. We're trading at resistance level here. We can easily break out of this resistance level going into tomorrow for Apple. We'll see what Apple does tomorrow. Don't chase, but the trend remains bullish nevertheless. Key level here you can retest at some point 260, but the level again still remains intact. You're seeing some accumulation taking place here at this level, which is the 269 270 area. So no trades here for Apple, but Apple remains bullish as MACD is starting to curve up. You're seeing volume stepping in here again. Let's take a look at let's see another one here that we have. AMD. All right, let's look at AMD. AMD was still in distribution. We still have that gap that could get filled in AMD. We could still see that gap get filled. We're still following a downtrend on AMD on the daily here, which is that bearish divergence that was formed. We're not breaking the pivot. So you can continue to see more downside on AMD, but it's completely oversold. So the one thing you're looking at, that's we were just looking at the 4 hours. On the daily chart we're looking at for AMD, let me just remove this for a moment. You want to be careful with as well is we are seeing buyers stepping in, have a hammer candle, a hammer close here on AMD. So we are pretty much keeping an eye on this level here, because if the overall market is going to move up, it's very likely that AMD will do the same thing as well. Look at the Elliott Wave forecast that I posted. I do think you might start seeing some upside with this candle here going into if the market's going to have more upside. So pay attention to the AMD here again. Key level you want to see hold is this 202 level on AMD. You want to see that hold. Let's take a look at AMD here. Okay, so AMD came back, major resistance level, came back, kind of retest this level, and it's trying to find some sort of support. We're heading back into resistance where you had a UTAT previous sell-off. This is the wick that you had up here. You had wicked up on the daily, and you closed, and you never went back up there again until over here, until you broke out of it, and now you're retesting it. Then you're back into this resistance area. You're still below the 50-day EMA, so you want to see a hold of this, maybe a breakout. If you're going to get that, you at least want to see some sort of move to break out of this. All right, that's for AMD. So still cautious, but more on the bullish side. To see what the market is going to do, let's take a look at. This is a quick review of what I'm looking at on the overall trend. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon is continuing to see some upside as we had that retest over here in Amazon. Came back, broke out, and we're retesting. And if you look from the swing low to the swing high on this retest, you did not create a new low. You came right between the 6.718 and a 0.1. So you had a big wave 1 retest. So if Amazon continue to see upside here, it's the weekly. Weekly is still bearish. Daily is trying to see buyers step in. If buyers fail to step in, you're going to see this gap get filled. So you can still see some upside here in AMD. But still caution the overall market, but it's favoring upside at the moment. But you can see fail breakouts on Amazon. Okay, this was supposed to be AMD. Amazon. All right, let's see here. Amazon. There you go. So you're now above your retest support right over here. You're above the daily 200, the daily point of control, right below the 200-day moving average, getting back into resistance level. So very key level we're getting back into here. You take from swing high to swing low. And if anything, you get back up here at 242 or so, where you can see some sort of rejection happening. So you could definitely see a move up to 242 area on Amazon. Let's take a look at the other one is Google. Let's see, Google. Is this Google? Yeah, so that's Google. All right. Google is just another beast. It's just been continuing to break out. You had a this range has been formed, and then we broke out of this range. There's no trade here necessarily on Google, so I don't want to focus more on Google because Google has been on a rip, and I do not want anybody chasing Google here. This is completely, it's been on a crazy rip. If you missed this, you've missed it. Do not chase this at the moment. So no trades here in Google. Continue to see upside in Google, but you're starting to see sellers step in here as well on the 4 hours, and it's showing up here. You got first test, came back, reaccumulate, broke out, volume show upside, verified upside, but you're having sellers starting to step in here, but you're still holding above all the major EMAs, so there's no reason to short it. You're still holding above all the EMAs, but you're quite far away from the EMAs. So at some point, you're going to pull back into these EMAs, whether or not is tomorrow or sometime. You're going to pull back within the range of these EMAs here. So no trade here on chasing Google. Don't want to do that. Let's look at Google on here. There you go. You're having a doji being formed. Google's completely extended 2.618. Continue massive, massive run here. Don't want to chase this. If you haven't been at Google, stay away. That's all I would say. If you miss the move, stay away. Don't go chasing anything at the moment in Google. Let's take a look at Meta for a moment. Meta is one I've been talking about. We've had a retest of this level here, and we held that retest. Came down from the swing low to the swing high. And Meta came right at this level here, where you tend to see a wave 2 or a discounted area, which is within this range here. It's in the Discord when I posted. I expect to see a bounce. We were starting to show bullish divergence, which I posted. And that's the bounce. Whether or not this bounce will fail, I don't know. But we're looking to see whether or not Meta will continue to move to the upside here and fill these gap. If you go from swing high to swing low on Meta, you can certainly see more upside to Meta, at least a 688 to 714 area over here. If you start getting above this resistance 642, the next level is this 690 area. Expect to get hit next. 690 to 714 area on Meta. This was my target region on Meta. As you see, we're now above the daily point of control again. The next level I would think to target is this level over here, which is the 714 area I just talked about, which is this point of control right here. This is the next level we'll see, where you can tend to see some sort of rejection happening. This here was the extension, why I called the bottom here. This target, because you have an extension here, you have an A, you have B, and you came down to the 0.618 after you dropped below the 0.1. You came right over here and you saw that bounce, and you're starting to look back. You're starting to become green. Volume's starting to support this bounce here on Meta. Meta is still showing signs that there might be more upside. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is back at support level within the range, broke down within the range here. So this here is usually, you see some selling, you want to get above here, and then you see this other resistance level here. Key area is this 184. But look at the volume overall on NVIDIA, telling me that buyers are stepping in, and you can see upside movement on NVIDIA. You look at the swing low here to the swing high in NVIDIA. You came down right at a 718 discount, and buyers stepped in. So you can continue to see upside movement on NVIDIA here. As long as you're holding this level here at 164, you're good into NVIDIA. If you start losing this level, then you come down to 153 to 140 region. So far, if you're long NVIDIA this area, stay long. It's fine. If you start breaking below this area here at 163, then very likely you're going to come down and towards this 153, 140 to retest this area here. So market is at a very pivotal spot where buyers are still in control, but levels are currently being tested. Here you go. That's that area you broke down back into. You're below the 50-day moving average. Selling is still high, but buyers are trying to step in. You're below the point of control, which is this 184 area, which is a really big area. You want to see NVIDIA above. It's 184. If you're taking from swing high to the swing low on NVIDIA, you're looking at this area here again, resistance area, which is this 196. If you go there, that's where you see some rejection happening again on NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Tesla. Okay, here's Tesla finding support as you retraced, found support right within this area here where we had this retest. Did not completely came down and retest this 367 area. So you're finding some sort of bounce here, key level here, but you can still see Nvidia is trying to close. Not Nvidia, Tesla is trying to close bullish based on our BX trender. So if the overall market continues to move up and Tesla breaks pivot, which is over here on MACD and RSI, and it starts breaking pivot, retest, and move up, you can see Tesla starts to move it back again within this $466,500 range. That's the range I'm looking at for Tesla. Everything is at very much key level. You're starting to hold this resistance here in 50-day moving average on the daily. So, and you bounce off of this key trend line right over here. So everything again is in a pivotal spot on the overall market. Bullish trend remains intact. Levels are being tested. There was a macro distribution that was taking place. And whenever there's a distribution taking place, sellers, market makers will test levels. And if the levels, buyers are still at that level, they're going to take it up again and continue to test levels until they could get rid of as much buyers and much sellers until they're ready to take the market where they want to take the market. And that's what's currently happening at the moment. Levels are just being tested. And if the market's not ready to move lower, market maker is going to take the market higher until they're ready to take the market lower, until buyers have disappeared from those levels. That's how the market works. It's an auction market, and that's how it works. It's all about liquidity, and liquidity is going to be tested. All right, so that's what I have so far for the overall market. Let's take a look at VIX really quick. So VIX broke down again very rapidly. VIX broke down right into, we're looking at support level here again going into tomorrow. Those are key levels for tomorrow. VIX remained bearish as it flipped bearish on RX BX trender. Looks like it wants to continue to break to the downside again. So please remain cautious if VIX continue to break to the downside. Markets still remain bullish as of now, but this is the key level that we're looking at going into tomorrow on VIX. This 1826 level all the way down to the 1701 level for VIX. That's what I have on the overall market. Nothing here on GDX, which is gold miners. We're looking to break out here. We have resistance at $80. If we break out, you could come up here, retest, and come back down again. Not much trade within GDX here, but still, nevertheless, still looks bullish as you continue to trend to the upside here. So pay attention to the overall market, pay attention to the key levels. Do not over leverage in the market going into tomorrow. It's a short week. It's a Thanksgiving week. So that's all I have, guys. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful trading day. Take care. Bye.